All right, guys, good morning. Boy32 here. Check it out. So the purpose of this video is twofold. One, I want to go ahead and announce that I have elected to start a secondary channel, and it's going to be called the KB Freedom Channel. The purpose of that channel is basically we are going to call out all those individuals who want to chip away at our freedoms one piece at a time, because that's how it's done. So if you would, please, I'm going to put the link down below. I'd appreciate it if you could go subscribe to that channel. We're going to make it grow, hopefully. And you know what? I really appreciate the help in making this channel grow. So let's talk about the main purpose of this video. We're going to be discussing the details of the policies on content featuring firearms enacted by the YouTube organization. Now, I'm going to come across on this one basically as a devil's advocate. It is my belief that YouTube, if they had actually wanted to, they could have kicked us all out of here a while back. I can't understand why anybody would want to be playing grab ass with firearms channels if they just wanted to get rid of them. A lot of people are like, they've eventually done it. They're going to kick us out of here in April. Well, I'm not so sure of that. And the reason being is I took this policy and I dissected each and every line in order to get a better understanding what their specific details are. Now, in my line of work, what I do in my professional business is I critique contracts. Specifically, I look at them from a standpoint of eliminating assumptions, conjecture, and basically walk away from these things knowing that it either is or it is not. And if it is not in there, then it is not. If it is, then it is. There's not one thing or the other. And I have a hard time thinking that that was not the way YouTube actually builds their policies. So with that said, I mean, you could probably tell me to go pound sand right now, but after you hear what I've got to say, I think that maybe this could shed some light on this policy. Now, everybody, including myself, did a video going, oh, we're here, we're gone, they're going to kick us out of here. And just again, like I said, if they were actually going to do that, I think they would have already done it. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, if somebody had not sent this policy to me, I would have never found it, honestly, unless there's a simpler way to get to it. Now, I'm going to show you a little picture right here. Now, this is the home screen for my YouTube channel. And just looking at it, I'm greatly appreciative. We went over 36,000 subs last night, and I really appreciate that. So what you have to do is you have to click on Video Manager. Once you click on that, you have to click down here on the bottom left-hand side to Help and Feedback. All right, after you click on that, you got to go browse all articles because it's nowhere near anywhere you can find it. So once you click on that, you're going to see this drop-down menus. You can expand down here on the bottom, second from the bottom, Policy, Safety, and Copyright. Once you expand that, you're going to see Policies, Reporting and Enforcement, Privacy and Safety Center, Copyright, and Rights Management. What we want to do is click on the Policies, Reporting, and Enforcement. We click on that, then they're going to lump us, the firearm channels, in with all harassment and cyberbullying, hate speech, policy on impersonation, policy on threats, child endangerment, nudity and sexual content, violent and graphic content policies, yada, yada, yada. But if you click on the policies on content featuring firearms, this is what you're going to see. And this is what it takes to actually get to this page. So it's hard enough to actually get to it. Now we have to dissect it and we have to understand what's going on. Now, let's look at this thing. Policies on content featuring firearms. YouTube prohibits certain kinds of content featuring firearms. Certain kinds of content. Not all content, but certain kinds of content. Specifically, we don't allow content that, here we go, intends to sell firearms or certain firearm accessories through direct sales, ergo private sales by individuals, or links to the site that sell these items. Now, I'd have to, one, and I hate doing this, assume that they're referring to private sales. They're not talking about links to a channel that, or say, you know, I'm doing a review on an upper or a firearm that was, you know, being currently sold by Palmetto State Armory. What they're referring to is sites like Arms List or the channels where you can bid on stuff. Private sales by individuals. That's what they're referring to. Not Cabela's, not Midway USA, not Cheaper Than Dirt. So that is what I believe 100% they're talking about sell firearms through direct sales, ergo private sales by individuals, or link to sites that sell these items. It's kind of like the deal they did with Facebook a while back. If you understand, a lot of people are trying to sell their firearms through Facebook. Well, it's that. I think this is the same thing that YouTube is doing here. All right. Secondly, B, second part of that first paragraph, certain firearm accessories, private sales by individuals, again, because that's lumped into the same paragraph, or links to sites that sell these items. These accessories include, but may not be limited to, the accessories that enable a firearm to simulate automatic fire or convert a firearm to automatic fire, ergo bump stocks, Gatling triggers, drop-in auto sears, and or conversion kits. Now, if I go out and I've, say for instance, got a Hyperfire Eclipse trigger for my 3-gun firearm, and I'm out doing a demonstration and this is how the trigger works. That's an instructional video. It is not shooting in full auto. It's not a bump stock. It's not a Gatling trigger. It's not a drop-in auto sear. If you were out there playing around with one of those, you got bigger problems than YouTube on your hands. Or a conversion kit. It is a competition trigger. It's not a binary trigger. It's a competition trigger. Binary trigger is going to be a weird one. I'm not sure how they're going to address that because it's not on here. It's not in black and white. It's not a bump stock. It's not a Gatling trigger. That's one of these things. It's not a trigger that has a ball bearing in it like a Trigger Tech. Guys, that's why I'm saying a lot of people are reading into this thing without actually reading the specific details. Now, I'm really waiting to see what the law thing on over there at the Gun Collective comes up with this thing, because I'm pretty sure he's probably working on it right now. Secondly, and lastly of that paragraph, is high-capacity magazines. Magazines are belt-fed, carrying more than 30 rounds. So we're talking about drum mags, things like that. Well, you know what? If you're showing a drum mag, how do they know you got more than 30 rounds in it? I'm not sure why they even put that in there. So it's kind of unusual. So say, for instance, you're doing a review on a 30-round mag. Well, how can they find that that's outside of their policy? They can't. It's right here. If you're doing a review on a trigger, how can they find that that's outside of their policy? They can't, because it's not on here. It's not in black and white. Don't go trying to sell your firearms like, hey, I'm Cuddleboy 32, and I got this bad boy right here for sale. So here's the link and my phone number down below. Call me if you want to buy it. They don't want to use YouTube as their platform for selling firearms, private sales by individuals, if that makes sense. Okay. The next paragraph gets a little bit more deep, and we're going to talk about this really neat. I'm going to read the whole paragraph, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up. And again, if this is boring you, that's probably okay. But if you have a YouTube channel and you feel like this may affect your business line or your market share in the YouTube world, this is pretty important. Listen up. Private instructions on manufacturing a firearm, ammunition, high-capacity magazines, homemade silencer suppressors, or certain firearm accessories such as those listed above, bump stocks, trigger cranks, that kind of thing. This also includes instructions on how to convert a firearm to automatic or simulated automatic firing capabilities. All right, so the first part of paragraph 2, provide instructions on what? Manufacturing. Manufacturing a firearm. This is kind of an iffy thing. This is the gray area, and it's not where I'm not sure, because it's not in black and white. It is not, is, or is not. They're saying manufacturing a firearm. So can this be applied to 80%? Lowers. Well, 80% lower as defined by the ATF is not a firearm. Could this be applied to 3D printing? Some people are out there 3D printing their firearms. Well, manufacturing, probably. Homemade. A lot of people, I've seen videos on their homemade shotguns. Those are pretty cool videos, but does YouTube want that on there? I don't know. All right, so my biggest question is, because I have several videos out there showing you how to put your AR-15 lower together. Now, is that assembly? Yeah, that's assembly. Is it manufacturing? No. There's a different thing. Manufacturing is the intent to sell. All right, so you become a manufacturer, and it requires an FFL license. Now, a lot of you guys know the laws better than I am. If I'm wrong on that, then please let me know. Like I said earlier, I'm a big boy. I can take some criticism. But under the Gun Control Act of 1968, it is illegal for an unlicensed person to make a firearm for sale or distribution. Vendors, however, stated that because the receivers are not finished, They are not firearms and therefore are illegal to sell and distribute. A ghost gun, this is funny, is a firearm without serial numbers. The term is used by the gun control advocates, gun rights advocates, law enforcement, and some in the firearm industries. Under U.S. federal law, the creation and possession of a ghost gun is permitted, but a license is required to manufacture firearms for sale or distribution. This would require an FFL 07 or an FFL 10. Whew, that's a lot of words, but I wanted to look it up and have it clear in definition according to the BATF. All right, so we've got that done. So can you assemble an AR lower? Yeah, you're not trying to sell it, so I'm not sure what they're going to do about that. That'll be interesting to see. 07 is a manufacturer of firearms other than destructive devices. 10 is manufacturer of destructive devices, ammunition for the destructive devices, or armor-piercing ammunition. All right, so that's going to be unusual to see what they do as it applies to, hey guys, this is how you put your AR-15 lower together. Is it an instructional video on how to manufacture? It could be construed as that. We'll have to see. Manufacturing ammunition. Now, this is the one thing that I'm not sure about what their intent here is, because there are a lot of people out there doing reloading videos, and there's a lot of good information, and it's instructional. Are you manufacturing ammunition for resale? Well, in that case, you're going to have to need an FFL license. If you're not, and you're a typical reloader, you can reload all you want for your personal self. Do they want this on YouTube? I can't understand why it is they would not, other than, say, for instance, you've got California where you can't order online. You have to do it in person, that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with our reloading channels. Johnny's Reloading Bench comes to mind. I placed a call out him, or sent him a message just asking for his input on this thing. I'm hoping that it does not. He's got a great channel, a lot of valuable information out there, and I, for one, am grateful because I'm getting ready to start reloading the 77 grain Sierra Match King, and I've just been glued to his channel for the last couple of days. So if the person reloads for only personal use, they do not have to have an FFL. If you engage in the selling and distribution and reloads for the purpose of a livelihood and profit, you got to have an FFL license 06. Manufacture of ammunition for firearms other than destructive devices or armor-piercing ammunition. Maybe they're talking about the guy's Talfa Ramos or whatever his name is, who's out there making these crazy 12-gauge shotgun shells. But if you're out there making 9mm and you're showing a gentleman how to do that safely, I don't understand how they could do that. Okay, moving on. Manufacturing high-capacity magazines, anything in excess of 30 rounds, belt-fed, higher than 30-round magazines, are not legal in all 50 states. I don't really understand why that would even be an issue, but I don't know anybody who's doing a video on showing you how to manufacture a magazine. I'm not sure. Manufacturing homemade silencers. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing that, you're not supposed to. You can't produce one without a Form 1 and a $200 tax stamp. It's an NFA-regulated item, even if it's made at home. So even if you had a Form 1 and you wanted to show people how to do it, I'm not sure why they would object to that. Maybe they just don't want that kind of stuff getting out, or it's just the evil word, silencer or suppressor. All right. Manufacturing certain firearm accessories as those listed above. So silencers, manufacturing, ammo, high-capacity magazines, 80% lowers. Who knows? But in any case, it's to me, that's not black and white. It's kind of broad spanning, and that's where the danger of this whole policy is, and we're going to have to wait to find out what exactly happens. One down below that I'm not too concerned about, that's pretty well black and white. This also includes instructions on how to convert a firearm to automatic or simulated automatic firing capabilities. Simulated automatic. So basically bump stocking, trigger bump, shooting, that kind of thing. They don't want you to put instructions on how to do that or how to convert a firearm to do that. That's pretty well black and white. Number 3, shows users how to install the above mentioned accessories and modifications. Again, guys, this is getting long and I'm getting hoarse just from talking. So that pretty much applies to all that stuff. In that statement, I don't even know why they put that in there because it's pretty well stated in all the above. So what do I come away with this? There are some things that are shadowy. They're gray material. There are some things that are black and white that do protect the YouTube channels as well as they do protect YouTube. I think that they're trying to get away from the liability of having firearms and having somebody learn something and use it in a crime later on. That might be the case. Is it as harmful as a lot of YouTubers are trying to convey? I don't know. We'll see. But if you read it in black and white, it is, I don't know. That sounds stupid, but it is what it is. It's a badly written policy in my book because it leaves way too much to conjecture and assumption. And what'll happen is you get this flagging report content that violates this policy. You're going to get a lot of people out there, ooh, that violates the policy. Click. Moms Demand Action Now. They're going to be all over this thing, and they're going to probably flag every video they can find. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting when this all takes effect, but you know what? That's why we have to fight for our rights every single day, because there's people out there that make a living fighting against us. And I don't think enough of us are doing what we could do to prevent it. Whew. All right. Well, that's being said, if this was helpful, I know it was for me reading through it about 20 times. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the KB Freedom channel if you would. We'll see if we can make that bad boy grow. And we'll try to keep our rants down below 6 minutes. It's going to be hard on detailed stuff like this. In any case, God bless America. God bless those men, women in uniform 24/7 for our freedoms. Freedom's not free. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. It's Good Boy 32. I'm out.